Hello, this is Krystine, the Beauty Pro coach and your host of the Beauty Pro podcast. I am here with the fabulous Angelica Prather. We met, I think, by chance or something on Instagram, and I went on her podcast, and now she's here on mine. And so, Angelica, please introduce yourself to everybody, please.
Well, hello, everybody. I am Angelica Prather. I am your go to income strategist and pricing specialist. And my main mission is to empower the everyday entrepreneur, B2B business owners, and service providers to literally price precisely, build their brands in an authority way that just helps them to profit strategically in their business. Because ultimately, that's the goal, right? And so I do it through a series of ways. I work one on one with my husband, my wonderful business partner. We have the Prathers Consulting Agency and we have Charge Your Worth Academy Authority Builders membership. So I get to serve people in a very intimate way. So I love it.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dealing with people's money, like, you can't get any more intimate than that.
That part, right? When you get into the finances, the numbers have a way of telling you what's really going on, right? So
Mhm.
people could dress it up and make it look pretty, but once you peel back those layers, you can see what's really going on. And it's nothing to be ashamed about, but I heard this quote a while ago and it says, revenue is for your ego and
Mm,
your profits is really for your family, right?
mm,
And so that's kind of what you really want to focus on, right? What type of legacy or what is it that you need the money for?
mhm.
But not so much that your money is important, but it's more about the impact that you're going to make with the money, right? What are you going to do with the money?
I like that.
So, yeah.
So how did you get started with being a money mama?
Well, I gotta take it back, but I won't be long-winded, okay?
Okay.
So, to be truthfully honest, I lost my parents at a very young
Mm,
age, and watching life be like stripped from under you. My mom left 3 kids, no life insurance. My
mm,
mom was only 31.
mm,
Um, I'm 37, so you can
mhm,
understand. I have 2 children as well, one bonus son. So that really made me pay attention to finances just because of the lack of thereof, right? And just seeing how life was so different, like quickly, because somebody is missing from the picture and not having your stuff in order, like just call it what it is.
mhm,
And not that my mom knew that she was going to pass away, but it was a 2 week process and she was gone, right? And so here
mhm,
are 3 children. So I always started to pay attention to money. And then I watched, I grew up kind of around entrepreneurship. My great grandmother owned a school. My godparents owned a boutique Christian store that sold Bibles and choir robes and stuff like that. So, anyway, I've always been paying attention to finances and money. And I knew that money was the way that to create new opportunities for yourself. And I grew up in Brooklyn, New York,
mm,
so I'm a straight New Yorker. And then as I gotten older, I became a hairstylist. And I remember my first boss ever, who I'm still really cool with, she asked me what business was I in. And I was like, I'm in the hair industry. And she was like, no, you're in the people business. And you want to look at quality clients over quantity.
mm,
And she did that in so many different ways. She taught business very differently than just doing hair. So
mm,
I got to watch her, and I remember I was making a lot of money. I was 15 and the cash was rolling in. I mean, a tip
mm,
then in New York City at that time for washing someone's hair minimum was $10. And
mm.
I was assisting all of the stylists. She was like, you're making a lot of money and I see you spending it as fast as you're making it. And so she started me on the track of paying attention, telling my money what to do. And that's really how I got started. And then I just went down this rabbit hole of just understanding finances. So I was the stylist that's like, if I charge someone, let's just throw out a random number, maybe
Mhm.
uh $200 for their cut and color. I never told myself I made $200. I was like, okay, God gets this, and then this is how
Mhm.
much I have left. So I always gave
Mhm.
myself less, and then I just divided my money. And that habit became what I now teach. And it's really from
Oh,
biblical principles.
I love that so much. Oh my gosh. Okay. So what's been the most nourishing part about owning your own business because your husband owns his business too, right?
Well, we merged everything together, so it's no longer his and hers. It's
Oh.
ours, right? So that's the Prathers Consultancy. He does the branding part and building, helping CEOs stand out and build an authority without being a slave to everything that every shiny thing is. And then I do the pricing strategy. So we work with B2B businesses. But
Cool.
the most nourishing part that, to answer your question, one of the things that I love that I get the opportunity to witness when I go and do the fine tooth comb with their finances, and we do a lot more than just the finance part, but the time that they gain back, because there's a mentality that if I hustle, I'll create this level of success.
Mm-hmm.
But hustling only leaves you broke and burned out, right? And I am a firm believer, and I am a believer, and I just was like, the secret sauce is in the word of God, right? And so when I peel back those layers and show them how they can work less, and they're like, wow, I have time to spend with my husband. I have time to, do the things that I truly desire, whether serve in church or uh, take care of themselves in a different way. And they're like, but my money, like I'm not working as hard. Like it's just such a contrary thought process that
Yeah.
success or making a certain amount of money, you don't have to hustle to get there. So I worked 8 days a month before I actually retired from the chair and still brought in six figures. So it's not so much, it's how you're going to do it. How do you move
Yeah.
about it? And I think that a lot of industries, whether you're in the beauty industry or not, we have a culture code of the more I do, the more I get. Well, actually,
Mm.
it's the opposite if you are trying to be strategic about the way you acquire wealth in whatever capacity you think wealth is to you, because wealth can be healthy body, right? That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to mean that you're making a lot of money. It doesn't mean that you make millions, right? You have to define what wealth looks like for you. And the people that I have the privilege of working with they're like, I'm making money. The problem is not that I'm making money. I just don't, I'm at my max, right?
Mm.
I'm at the max brim. And I thought when I was making this money that I would gain time, but I'm still a slave to the business. Like the thing I love became another crutch. And it's because they went into the business doing it completely wrong. So I try to meet them and then like strip back. So a lot of it is just showing them a different methodology of how to run their business.
That
And it
is
ends up,
so cool.
yeah, it ends
That
up
is
working.
so cool. And I just want to clarify because I think I heard this right, but I just want to emphasize it. You were working 8 days a month behind the
Yes.
chair and you
Yes.
were still bringing in six figures.
Yes.
Okay. I hope you
Mhm.
heard that. I hope you heard that, listener. Okay.
Yes. And it wasn't because like I knew I was transitioning into answering the call to really show up in a space to help other CEOs, even if you're not a CEO, a service provider, beautypreneur, I don't care where you are in your
Mhm.
industry. Um, it really was about showing a different blueprint. And that has
Mhm.
become like the catalyst because there's so much noise out there and there's so much levels of success, but when you're building something or you're trying to transition into something, I was like, okay, 8 days a month and my income didn't suffer, not an ounce.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Mhm.
Okay. So then what do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. And I love that because I heard this a long time ago about your dash. And so we have our start date and
Mhm.
then we have our end date, which nobody knows, right? But we're all leaving here and it's the dash. When people think of Angelica, this might seem really cliche, but
Mhm.
I want them to think about how she was sold out for God
Mm.
in every area of her life. I don't care. No one's going to know about how much money I saved people. I don't care about any of that. I really, truly want to say that her life mirrored heaven on earth.
I love it. I
And
love that.
that would make me really, really happy. And I only say that because when my mother died, I
Mhm.
thought I knew my mother. I
Mm.
learned about my mother at her funeral.
Oh,
And it was powerful. I was like, oh my God, she just took us to school. I didn't know she was doing all this stuff.
I
And
got
she, oh,
chills. Yeah, I
she was,
do.
she was only on this earth for 31 years, but the impact that she has, that I can go to Brooklyn today and people like, they say I look just like her now, especially because I have short hair. The impact that she's had for 31 years, and that's a little life. You only become an adult at like 21.
Hmm.
So you're not living for that long, but going to jails, going to soup kitchens, going to cancer wards, like nobody cared about what the heck she did
Right,
at all. Nobody talked about how
right,
great her job was. So
right.
my experience in what I do is almost like ministry, and if people experience working with me or my husband to that capacity, they gonna get this light. That's it.
I love
So
it.
if
You
this ain't for
don't have a
you,
choice.
you gonna get it. Not saying that I'm
You
gonna
won't.
preach the word to you, but I want
Mhm.
you to know that my assignment, any client, I will tell clients, no, we can't align, we don't align, we don't work. And that's not because of their faith. It's
Mhm.
just like, if I know that we don't have what you need, I'm not taking a
Mhm.
dollar for you, because my answer to who I have to answer to is way bigger than your dollar.
Mm.
So even with being a hairstylist, I would say no to a lot of people. Consult with them. I'm not a great fit for you. Let me refer you out. That became my ministry. Let me send you to someone who's a better fit for you, because
Yeah.
I am not the one. And once I started to practice that, it's a game changer.
That is so good to hear, because it's so important that as beauty and barber pros, we know where we start and end, so
Mm-hmm.
that we are better able to help other people and connect and network and just and be able to refer without having that, oh my goodness, they're not gonna, like me, or it's the rejection or whatever it is. Like, we all have a
Mm-hmm.
purpose so much higher,
Absolutely. So that's
you
what I want to
know?
be known for. I'm sorry I went on like a little bit of a tangent,
No,
but I
I
wanted
love
to.
it. I love it. And people need to hear that. So that's fine.
Hmm.
So what's it's obvious, we know, we have heard your struggle, right?
Yes.
And losing a mother at a young age, that's a struggle. What would you say is your biggest failure? And how did
Oh.
you overcome it, learn from it, use it?
Mm. This is my favorite to tell, because I love talking about the failures.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, I love
We
it. It's the
love
secret.
struggles,
Yeah.
failures.
Because a lot of people talk about the success, like that's all highlighted, right?
Right.
And but it's the process to get there makes it
Mhm.
so much more rewarding. But anyway, I tried to open a salon 3 times in New York. I
Oof.
was like, I literally money down, like found locations, perfect spots, literally put money down, and something would happen. And they're like, oh, and then here's the kicker, I would always get every cent back. Like, when you put money down and you
What?
every cent. So that's how you know it's timing. But I was like, first time it was like, oh, maybe it's another time. You're optimistic. The second
Uh-huh.
time I'm like, oh my God, this is a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
This lady that I know, she's gonna give me her salon, and the Bronx is in a perfect, it's already got a clientele. And of course, I was young. I started that process at like 19.
Mm.
So I was like going. And she asked me for the deposit. I had exactly enough. Feel like I had more than enough. I'm the money person, right? So I
Right.
was like, I got enough. Contractor, one of my clients who was being he's like, wait, Angelica, it's in the Bronx. You need to go look at the salon and really look behind the layers. So he's like, I'm gonna send somebody that does like inspections. They found there was mold all throughout the salon. So that's number two.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, thank God, because I could have died. My clients could have died. It's
Yeah.
horrible, right?
Yeah, not good.
So then the third time I had heard about salon suites, and I was like, okay, this is going to be great. This is the new boom. But they didn't have a lot in New York. It was a very slow market, but it wasn't salon suites. It was actually in estate buildings, and they had like huge, gigantic, like loft style salon suites, or suites per se. And I was like, oh, I
Mhm.
can turn it into this. So I went, gave my money, and the guy was like, you're just too young. Like, I don't know if you're gonna like, he was like, I know you have all the documentations, your credit is great. I just don't know. I was devastated. But the beautiful thing about that was I was not ready. I thought I knew it all. I was ready to jump. I was like, I got the clientele, they'll follow me. I just thought I knew enough. What I did not know, I knew the skill set from the front of the house. I did not know the back of the house.
Mm.
I didn't understand what scaling really meant. I needed to master leadership in a different way, because I was going to go about it the completely wrong way. I was telling people that I worked with in a mindset of, I'm going to take you with me. That doesn't align with anything that I believe in, right? So that was
Mhm.
like shady, like playing the shady game.
Mhm.
I did not understand what it really meant to run a business. So here's the kicker. So that was 3 gut punches, and I just was like, God, if you don't want me to have a salon, maybe it's not my will. I just need to stay a commission stylist.
Yeah.
I'm good, right? Like, that's the lane. Like, stop trying to be, because that's the next level of success. Just stay in your lane. So I had kind of let that settle, but it was very disheartening. So at the time, at the salon I was working at, they were compartmental salon. And so I remember a lady that like took me under her wing, loved her, and she's like, I know that's what you wanted, but timing is everything, and you still got a lot of life to live. They had given me a promotion to learn the backside of the house. I had never seen a multi-million-dollar salon operate like a machine. You're talking about
Cool.
the greatest cheat sheet you will ever, like training on wheels, the best thing I could have ever gotten. So, although I was secretly disappointed,
Mhm.
I needed those failures, because timing is everything. And what you glamorize in your head that's like success, that was not successful. That would have burned me out, ruined all of my income. I would have been working like a dog, because I did not have the skill set to really master what it truly meant to work, make money, but not let it make you. I
Mm.
was on that will, like, I want to look like I'm balling. I wanted to look the part. But remember I did my taxes that year, and I had made the most I had ever made, which was $247,000 as a commission stylist. And on top of like doing my own side gigs too. But that's still a
Mhm.
lot of money for someone who's
Mhm.
like 22 years
Yeah.
old, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I told you I was the money girl, right?
Right. Right.
Guess how much I had in my bank account?
Oh no. You had none? Nothing?
$47 in my savings account.
$47.
That's in my savings account. Not have money in my check-in, but that's how much you made, right? So remember I said earlier about revenues for your
Yeah.
ego, and your
Yeah.
profits is really for you. If you made that amount of money that I had made as a commission stylist, why do you have $47 in your account?
Mhm.
Something
Mhm.
doesn't add up. So those
Right.
combining of failures
Mhm.
really was, at the time I was like crying. I got
Yeah.
fired from I got fired from my accountant. He was like, so it was like a compound
Oh.
of fail, like it was like years of it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like, maybe I just need to, like, I don't know. It was really hard to see that. And then I was devastated, because I was like, that's the most I had made as a commission stylist, and all of the work running up and down New York City, from the Bronx to Manhattan to Long Island, just all over the place. And that's what I had to show for it.
Mm.
And that, I don't know how anybody can feel, but
Yeah.
it brought back up once again your parent dying,
Yeah.
and you're at this place of, oh my God, you finally have a career and you squander it away. Like,
Mm.
what did you drink? What did you do when you have nothing to show for it, and you put that much effort, and then now you have nothing to show for it? That was the pivotal shift for me. But it was the failure I needed, because I did not really respect the money I was making and respect the time that I was putting. When you're young, you just move in and you're not paying attention. But that
Mhm.
was the hardest thing, because then I was missing out on things that I truly wanted to do, because
Mhm.
I didn't put things in place when I made all this money. And that I witnessed that so much with so many beautypreneurs, that they make a lot of money, but then they don't have anything to show for it.
So what do
And
you
they
tell them? What do you tell them when they come to you bawling and just like losing their minds and they're just like, "Look at this." Like what's like the one advice that you give them?
So the one advice is, I'm a little bit harsh,
Love it.
right?
Truth
So
hurts. Let's get
yeah,
to it.
I don't coddle.
Mhm.
Okay, so now that we cried and we're at our wits, tell me what the solution is. Because a lot of people are looking for someone to give them solution. I can give you
Mhm.
the strategy, but if it kicks you in the gut and it hurts you that bad, what could we have done differently? Tell me who you're going to become
Mm.
to get the difference.
Mm.
Because if you're not even going to become it, I don't want to work with you.
Mhm.
Like, I literally tell them that. What is it that you desire? What could we have done differently? And take accountability for what you contributed, because
Mhm.
it's either the lack of knowledge or you just trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like, tell yourself the truth. Okay, we cried. We get it. Now what?
Mhm. Love
And
it.
that's the advice that I always, it's not really advice, but we have to lead ourselves. You can't always, this world is like a drug.
Yeah.
Oh, who's going to give me the right answer? They got the right answer. No, you have to meet yourself in the mirror and say, what can I do? What can I do differently? So once I had that harsh reality, got fired, he was like, I'm not doing your books because I had you on a wealth strategy plan. And he asked me a pivotal question: do you want to be rich or wealthy? And what's the difference? And I gave him some bogus answer. And he's like, I'm going to show you how to build wealth if you follow my plan. If you don't follow my plan, guess what? I'm going to fire you. So he was very frank with me, but I decided that, oh, he loves me. It's
Right.
going to be great. So
Mm-mm.
I find that when I'm working with people, I have to be honest with them, because
Good.
they're not being honest with themselves in the
Right.
first place. That's why you're in this
Exactly.
problem you're in. So
Exactly.
if you want someone to coach you and consult with you about your business, I have to give you the raw truth. And if you don't like it, I'm not your girl, and I'm cool with that.
Right. Okay. So when you get in these situations, I'm sure people get upset. I'm sure people, say stuff under their breath.
Mhm.
So what's an insult that you've gotten that you are just so proud of?
An insult. That's a really good question. An insult that I got from a client or just in life?
It could be both if you want, either or, whatever.
An insult that I was proud I got. I would definitely say, well, people probably talk more behind my back than anything. I don't think they have like a lot of the guts to say say it to my face sometimes. And listen, y'all, I'm only 5 feet, but people don't really come for me. I don't know why.
No, it's
But
all that truth.
you know what? One of the insults that I got was literally about my pricing. Someone
Mm,
said, who do you think you are charging that amount?
mm,
And it was supposed to be used as an insult, but I was like, who am I not to? This is a
mhm.
business, right? And she's
Oof.
like, well, maybe if you charge less, you would get more clients. So I don't need more clients. I need quality clients.
Oof.
So that probably might be the worst I've gotten. I've gotten a lot. Like, oh, you think you're all of that? Of course I'm supposed to think I'm all of that. Like, who doesn't think they're all of that? They
Yeah.
should. So I've
Yeah.
definitely gotten that. Like, you think you're all that, and I combat it. I am. I'm supposed to think that I'm all of that, and then some. Because if I don't, who the heck is, right? So
Yeah.
you got to be able to toot your own horn. And I would say the ones that really hurt are the ones that demean my character when I know that's not who I am. But I stopped
Mhm.
fighting that battle a long time ago. If someone tries to, the truth always prevails. So I
Yeah.
don't even get upset about that. But those are probably like the two that I've gotten. But I'm a New Yorker, so we always got to come back. So
I
it's like
love
you say something, it's like I'm coming back real harder. So
Mhm.
I think that's something my husband's like, y'all always got to respond. I'm like, we're trained that way, you know? New Yorkers just like you say something, we're like coming right back at you.
Survival, baby, survival. But I
That
love
part.
but I love how just hearing you recount it, even though they're insulting you and you're taking it head on and you're like, "Uh-huh." It, it's humble still.
Mm.
Do you know? And I feel like sometimes beauty and barber pros, we get a little like, "Oh, yeah," and then it's just like, bang, like overkill. And
Like
it's
you
not
said,
necessary.
you said beauty pro, right? So pro is you're pro at everything. You should
Mm,
almost one of the things that I try to help with my like anyone that works with me or just even my friends is like if someone combats your pricing, for instance,
mhm,
it's not your job to take on that they can't afford it or
mhm.
that's their money problem. That's not your money problem. You are a business. They get an opportunity to talk to the CEO. How many people can talk to Amazon, the CEO? They can't talk to him. So you just make a decision like, oh, I can't afford that. But because you are facing the CEO who's about to do your hair or, your skin, your nails, whatever it is, right? And they say, oh, that's too high in perspective to what? Too
Mm.
high for your pockets? So I give them this. I say this is something that I've adapted. I tell people all the time. If someone literally combats your pricing, it's easy for you to just say, I'm sorry I don't fit in your financial budget. Would you like me to refer you to someone that does fit in your financial budget? And be
See?
quiet.
It's so simple. It's be quiet. You hear that? Be quiet. No, but
Yeah.
that's good. It's you don't need
No
all the
extra words.
frills.
You
Yeah.
don't debate. You don't, there's no reason. I spoke to a previous client prior to this early this morning,
Mhm.
and she was telling me her celebratory, and she was like, I didn't say anything. And then she figured out how to pay this 5-figure investment. It's
Mm.
not for you to figure out this is the investment and that's it. Be transparent
Mhm.
with your pricing. And 9 times out of 10, when you practice saying that, in the beginning, it feels uncomfortable. But what you do is you take the responsibility off of you and put it back onto them. And some people just are used to negotiating, they
Mm.
negotiate everything in life. So their job is to push you to make you feel like they want some. Anybody listening, does anybody like to pay more? No. Raise your hand if you're like, I want to pay more. Nobody does, right? Everybody wants something, everybody wants a deal. That's just how our society is made up.
Mhm.
However, it is not for the beauty pro to take on the responsibility of it's a business. If the
Mhm.
client can't afford it, do not feel bad. That's not your emotion you're supposed to carry. And I think the problem with service providers is they forget that they provide a service instead of just serving the people with this is the facts and that's it.
Mhm. Love that. Okay, what common myth do you face every day about what you do?
That I'm all about money.
Oh, okay.
Right? That it's all about the money for me. Like that's the common myth that is like, when I tell people to charge your worth, right? I say a statement like that. It's like, you're unvaluable. You're this, you're that. It's like, listen, the average person that knows their business needs to make X amount, but will still undercharge, doesn't understand their own value of the service they provide. So
Mm.
it's my job for them to take their identity and place it on the outside. We're not talking about the amount of money that's a tie to your identity. Who the heck are you?
Mm.
What do you provide? And then what does that provision add to that person's life? ROI, right?
Mm.
If you cannot identify that I am great, I have a skill set that someone needs, the skill set provides for the person. I, on the other hand, should receive a paycheck and I should be compensated correctly for my skill set to
Mhm.
give this person a result.
Mhm.
So, my job is to help you clearly see that what I'm providing, I should charge the worth of these hands, this
Mhm.
brain. Yes, I paid money for it. That is my worth.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I am going to receive a paycheck because when a client pays for the service, they're paying for the service that's provided. The
Mm.
service provider should be getting paid.
Look
So
at
I
that.
like to break that down when
Yeah.
people say, charge your worth. It's the most, I've heard so many coaches, that's the worst advice you can give. You're not tied to it. But if the service provider doesn't feel valuable in their own skin, doesn't understand how to separate what they do from who they are, then they'll never pay themselves a salary.
Mm.
They'll
Yeah.
never see that they're valuable to say, hey, I can buy whatever I want. I can go on the vacations. I can do all those things. So what? Your clients are not going to tip you because you're the CEO. Like, charge accurately. And you
Yeah.
don't care about your tips,
Right.
right? Your tips are a benefit. So that's one of the like myths like I like to break down. And
Mhm.
that's why we kind of our membership is called Authority Builders because I want you to feel like you have dominion to take over every part of your business. You should stand firm in what you do, not shy away from you or feel bad because someone's making you. And I always tell people feelings are real, but are they
Mhm.
factual to what it is that you're feeling? And sometimes
Mhm.
we allow people the permission to say they made me feel this way. They don't make you feel that way. That's something that's deep rooted in you. And
Mhm.
you gave permission to those words. So, how do we remove those words to really empower you to be that authority figure? And so it started as Charge Your Worth Academy, which is our curriculum, but really we want to build up authority leaders, more people to lead and leading in whatever way. That can be I'm leading my finances into a great
Right.
place. I'm leading my staff into a great place. I'm building a brand and my brand is going to take an authority in my space, not competing with the person to the right or the left, but being uniquely designed to who you are and stand firm on that unapologetically.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I just love this conversation so much. Okay. What's what's um what's something that no one agrees with you about?
Nobody agrees with me. I would definitely say what I just said, but because that has been the noise around. But I would
Yeah.
definitely say that I don't really pay attention to what others are saying whether they agree with me. Not the one that has been brought to me was about the charger worth, even from the Christian space, like
Mhm.
we're invaluable. So that would be
Right.
one. But I would say if I had to choose, it would probably be the way you do business when it comes
Mhm.
to like kingdom culture. I
Mm.
would see that there's a lot of ways of doing it,
Yeah.
and not saying that my way is the right way, but
Right.
I have had a conversation with several. It's like, well, you have to separate your business from your faith. And I was like, if somebody's working with the CEO, they should, that's not separate. So I have had that conversation. So
Good.
that would probably be one
That would
for
be one.
sure.
All right.
Hmm.
As a hairstylist and working in this industry for so long, what is a lesson that you have learned that you wish people who are not in the beauty industry, what is it that you want them to learn that they have to learn that they don't?
That they have to learn. I would say the one thing that someone coming into this industry,
Mhm.
don't focus on the money.
Ooh, ooh,
Do
that's
not,
good.
and I'm the person, do not focus on the
Mhm,
money. Build, be strategic with building relationships.
mhm,
Relationships equal revenue.
mhm,
If you can master being great at understanding people,
mhm.
understanding how to articulate, like really at the soul level, not at you just do great hair. People do not come to you, they come to you first for the skill set, but they stay with you for who you are.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
if you can master building relationships, healthy relationships, not your clients being your BFF. I'm
Mm,
not saying that. I'm
thank you.
really not
Thank
the
you.
BFF, like, I got to be your best friend so that you
No,
can pay me. No,
no,
I'm
no, no,
talking
no.
about understanding the relationship between having great clients that pay for value, that like you, grow with you, excel with you.
Mhm,
I'll tell you a quick story. Back to my first time I ever got promoted on the floor, my
mhm.
first boss, this lady came in. I was so excited. I finally got promoted to the floor because I'm from that era where we had to work from the bottom all the way up, sweeping
Uh-huh.
floors and
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
folding, cutting foils, all of that stuff. So that's where I'm from, right? And so that teammanship really taught you from the back of the house all the way to the top.
Yeah.
And I got promoted. I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I'm about to do some hair. I'm thinking I'm about to slay it, right?
Yes.
This lady sits in my chair and starts bawling. I'm like, I didn't even touch her yet. Like, what is happening? So here I am. I'm like, oh, I didn't even, maybe I didn't greet her correctly. I did our greet. Like, we had to say the same exact thing to our clients because
Yeah.
they ran it like a tight ship.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm the youngest in there. I worked in a beauty parlor, not a salon, a beauty parlor, because everybody in there was over 50. Okay.
Mhm.
And sure enough, I go in the back. I'm like, she's crying. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I didn't even do anything. I tried to start a consultation with her, but
I
she's
just said
hysterical.
hi.
Yeah. And she just bust out crying. And she's like, I want to cut all my hair off. Mind you, this lady's hair was like down her back and was hysterical crying. I call my boss. I'm like, she's hysterical crying. What am I supposed to do? She wants to cut her hair. It's so beautiful. And so she said, do you know what business you are in? And I was like, hair. She was like, she called
Right.
a couple of stylists. What business are you in? She's like, so she tells the rest of the stylists, she thinks she's in the hair business. And it was like, you got it wrong, sweetie. You're in the people business. You can't relate to her. You just got promoted. You're 17, about to turn
Mhm,
18. You don't
mhm.
know anything about divorce. Like, what is she crying about? And it was a divorce. She's like, I'm going through divorce. I
Oof,
just want to cut all my hair off.
oof.
I had no life experience. The closest I've been was to losing my parents and
Mhm.
moving a bunch of times in New York. That's it. That's as much life
Right,
experience I had.
right.
And she's like, your job is not to be an answer for her. The job is to listen to her. And you are the expert. So you need to learn how to control the narrative and put her in a place where she's going to make the best choice and decision for her.
Mm,
I go about there, and all I did was like, as service providers, we have the ability to touch people. That's the most intimate place, especially when you're working on someone's face, hands, feet, hair. It's intimate. And I was like, I don't know what you're going through, but I just wanted to give you a hug. Are you comfortable with that? Gave her a hug. And I said, listen, you want to chop all your hair off, but I don't think that's wise. You're meeting me for the first time. You're making a drastic decision. And this is me paraphrasing. We said
Yeah.
multiple things through that, but I
Yeah.
remember the
Yeah.
gist of the conversation. And anyway, she didn't end up cutting her hair, but I had her from 17 until 24 until I
Oh.
left to move to California. That same client gave me a big, wrote me a nice check to when I was relocating. When I went to college, she wrote me a really nice check. I mean, she was just there. To this day, I
Mm,
have babies.
mm,
And my husband and I, when we first got pregnant with our son, um, we was getting stuff in the mail. It was from them. It's from her and her whole squad, right? It was just
oh
like,
my.
yeah. So I said all that to say that relationships will take you far. You never know who you need. And your clients, like I'm hearing today that stylists are getting upset with their clients. They're shaming them online. They think it's funny or whatever, but these are people, right? And just like you don't want to be made fun of and stuff. I know that it's more comical to say when a client's running late and stuff like that, but you can have boundaries. You can do all of those great things, but if you search for quality clients, they will be with you for a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just trying to make a quick buck and like, I want to be booked and busy, I want to make coins, I want to make the money, I want to make six figures,
Yep.
it's okay for that to be the goal. But if that's the only thing you focus on, you forget the people who are going to be investing in the business. And people
Mm-hmm.
want to grow with you. They want
Mm-hmm.
to see you win, but they're not going to see you win if you're gloating all around that it's about the money for you.
Oh, ooh, that was powerful. Yeah. Yes. I see it online all the time. I hear it all the time. Well, it's just money, honey. I'm sorry. This is what is it? It's just business.
That's not
It's
business.
it's not business. No, no, no,
It's
no, no, no.
it's personal. There's a fine line between business and it being personal, but nobody cares about what you sell. They care about you as an
Mm-hmm.
individual. If a client has a bad experience, they're not coming back. They never talk about, they'll use the excuse that I didn't like my hair, but something in that transaction was a switch of energy that you guys were not on the same page. They don't quit because they use the end result as you didn't know what you were doing,
Mm-hmm.
but it started from you not either showing up with confidence, not speaking or articulating correctly, not paying attention, or taking multiple people at the same time and them feeling like a number. It's the when I talk to clients all the time, because I'm a big firm believer of talking to both sides.
Mm.
And when you talk to both, you get a different viewpoint. If you only talk to just hairstylists or anybody, you only are getting their problems. But guess what? We don't have a business if nobody shows up,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like who you gonna do hair to? Whose nails you doing, right? So if you are focused on making the money, but you're
Yeah.
replacing that these are people, you need to be studying people. What are they doing? What do they need? What are
Right.
their desires? Everybody has a different viewpoint. I just heard something today about there's a wave of stylists not shampooing hair and making clients come in with their hair wash and then doing the hair in the Black culture
Okay.
of salons, right? And that is huge. They will tell you, oh, I'm not washing. If you come in and you got to wash your hair, I'm charging you this amount of money. They like charge them extra to wash your hair. I'm like, I thought we went
Oh
to beauty school
no.
and I thought that was a part of the service, but that has become the norm. Or if someone has thick hair or they say, I'm going to charge you, this is something that I do not agree with because it's a
Yeah.
form of articulation.
Okay.
When you say I'm charging you extra for longer and thicker hair, what you're saying is I'm punishing the client who has thick, voluptuous hair. It's a punishment from that articulation.
Mm.
However, if you change the language and you say, hey, it takes longer to actually serve you, and I want to serve you at the highest capacity. So this is going to be your investment. So I can only focus on you. Does
Oof.
that sound like a punishment?
Ooh. That is, I hope you, oh my goodness, that was so good. That was so good. Yes, I love that
So we have to move. It's language. And
language.
a lot of people say, oh, I grow people's hair, I stays healthy. So you're saying healthy, you get the client's hair healthy, you get
Mm-hmm.
it thick, you get it voluptuous, but then I punish them and charge them more. No, that's why it's always great to have a range and know the time and consult
Right.
with them and really tell them, hey, if you are doing something that takes a little longer outside of your books, that's why it's important to communicate with your clients in a way. And you can have this in a system. Nobody, what I did here, nobody got in my chair without a consultation. Even the clients that I did every single time. Every single time.
That's
They're like,
right.
I already know Angelica. I know it's on the books. I know it. I do the same thing. Why do you think Chick-fil-A is successful?
Exactly. Thank you.
Same conversation every single
Thank
time. So when
you.
a client would sit in my chair, I offer them coffee, water, tea. They
Mhm.
change into a robe. Then I go over and I say, hey, what we've booked is blank, blank, blank. This is what we're going to do. This is the investment today. Has anything changed for you? Do you want to add anything? Because you know that we book your appointments with a little bit of a buffer for 30 minutes. So let me know if you want to do anything different. How
Yep.
was your hair the last time? I don't care if I've been doing them for 8 years straight.
Exactly.
They need the
Exactly.
same level of customer service every single time. Consistency is the name of the game. Studying people, even if your client deals with a death or comes in or anything, you feel their energy and you're like, is everything okay? Taking a little bit extra, not doing a consultation behind their head. Sit next to them, look at their face, look at their eyes, don't touch them, right?
Connect. Yeah, connect.
Connect with them on a soulful level. Then we're asking our clients to follow us on social media, and our lifestyle and what we're it doesn't match. This is a human interaction. People are spending great money, their hard-earned money. Yes, you are providing a service, but beyond that service is the heart level behind who's the service provider. And if it's all about the coin, boo boo, that client is looking for somebody else very soon. Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye. Okay. They're like, I'm looking for the greatest exit, right? As soon as I find someone better, I'm out that door. And
Yeah.
so I see that to be a common theme. And yeah, I think that people that are in this industry we got some work to do. Stop complaining about the clients.
Yes.
Get your leadership skills up, right? Get your money skills up, get your finances.
right.
Like I always say, right now, financial literacy, if you don't have it, you're missing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can't run a business without financial literacy. Like that's the new level of success.
Yeah.
Period.
I agree.
You just can't. Like, you know, your lifeline of your business is the financial part of it, but the people skills, you got to learn how to lead. You got to learn how to be an authority figure. Clients want to come in, relax, get great service. They don't care about everything that's going on with you. I don't care.
So what do you have going on right now? Because this, I am so happy to share you with the world. But I just hope everybody just like DMs you. So what do you have going on right now for people to be a part of?
So right now we are currently enrolling for the wait list. I should say not enrolling, wait list for authority builders.
Okay.
And so you can just go to angelicaprather.com or you can go straight to chargeyourworthacademy.org. And you can join the wait list there because if you like these firm conversations and great, we in Charge Your Worth Academy, we are a stickler for the information, actual information that's going to get you to the threshold. So we partner with different experts that come in there. It's not a membership like we just come to hang out and kiki on some Zoom. That is not it.
No.
Okay. We are about building CEOs, authority builders, getting you the real tools that you truly need. And we only have 4 areas that we truly focus on. And once you get those 4, you don't have to be a slave to your business at all. So that's what's currently going on. And I'll give you the links and all that stuff so they can come and join. And the investment is extremely affordable.
Okay, good.
It is $127 a month, or you can pay quarterly.
Honey, if you don't sign up for that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have those links in the show notes for sure.
Yeah. So that's what we have going on that you can connect with me. And unfortunately, I am that person that is on LinkedIn or Facebook. So
I was gonna ask you. I was trying to tag you earlier on Instagram, and I'm like,
no, I'm not on
Girlfriend
Instagram.
is not on your.
Yeah, Instagram kicked me off, right? They don't like they kicked me off. So I'm on Facebook, so you can
Okay.
find me at facebook.com
Okay.
/ Coach Angelica P. And then
Okay.
on LinkedIn, it's just Angelica Prather. And then
Okay.
YouTube, it's Angelica Prather. So those are my hangout spots.
It's okay.
I am more of a LinkedIn person. I'm just going to keep it real, y'all. I like business and I don't got time for the fluff. So if
See,
y'all want to do the fluffy stuff,
this is all facts. Angelica is all straight up, no time to waste. I love that. Okay.
I don't.
Before we wrap up, because I know time is like of the essence here.
Yes.
What's a question that you wished I would have asked you that I did not? And what would you have said?
Ooh, girl, you got some good ones.
Thank you.
This is fun. I haven't done I had took a break from podcasting like guests, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be different for a while. Like, so anyway, a question I wish you asked me. I think that a question that what is success now that I'm out of the industry?
Oh, I was going to ask you that, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna.
No,
Okay,
because
what is
I
it?
think people need to hear what success looks like on the other side.
Okay.
Or maybe they're climbing. I don't know where everybody's listening and where you are in your
Okay.
journey, but I
Yeah.
do want to say that success today more looks like peace.
I agree.
And I think that a lot of people that in the beauty pro space don't know what true peace looks like because they're not busy, right? And peace of mind or whatever you're building or whatever you're doing, like it should feel peaceful.
Yeah.
It shouldn't rob you of, and so many times in my career, 20 years behind the chair, literally, I found myself with no peace a few times. And it saddens me because a lot of people's like, well, I have to. If I don't work, I don't eat. If I don't do, it's all what I don't do. It's all fear-based. And I even had that, even in this career. So I'm not going to sit up here and tell you this, serving people with an ROI that's not tangible, but it's life tangible is completely different. You know, after you do someone's hair, they're like, I look good, right? After you impart new information, you're breaking down barriers, they don't feel it, right? They feel it temporarily and then they move on, right? And they don't keep a high to come back. This is not a dopamine, right? You get the results and then it's life changing. So I would say that success after people's been in the career for ages, or the young person who wants to come into the career and is like, oh, I'm going to make a lot of money. Define what peace looks like for you quickly, because you'll find yourself on a rabbit hole trying to chase what you see on these social media streets, and half of them are broke 99. Do not get caught up in the likes and the vanity and all that other stuff. I know, and this is no shade to nobody, but I know a lot of them that have tons of followers and are barely making it. So do not chase that. Define peace, because that's the success you're truly looking after. Whatever that number is, you will make it. But if it robs you from your peace, it doesn't matter how much money you make. You will be miserable. And so that's one question.
Okay, I love that. So this is Angelica Prather, ladies and gentlemen. She is such a rock. I hang out with her the first Saturday of every month for a little business prayer meeting, and I encourage you to reach out to her, join her program. I am so happy that she joined here, the Beauty Pro podcast. Thank you, Angelica.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So reach out to her. Her links are in the show notes, and I will talk to you, Angelica, and you, my dear listener, very soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.